evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar by Applied Science and Humanities Department of ITS Engineering College, Greater Noida, affiliated to Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow, India. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Dr. Sesa S. Srinivasan, Chair, Department of Natural Sciences, Assistant Professor of Physics, Florida Polytechnic University, Lakeland, USA. He will deliver the talk on the renewable energy systems and sustainability, education, research, and outreach, part 2. Now, I would request Dr. Srinivasan to give his talk. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Before I would like to start my presentation, I want to see, can you see my screen presentation? Can anyone see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And please mute yourself. That way it won't give any disturbances. Please put it into mute. All right. So this is the second part of my presentation. I still get some noises from the anyone. Please mute yourself. All right. So this is the second part of my presentation on renewable energy systems and sustainability. I would like to first of all thank Dr. Sanjay Kumar Mishra, the ITS Engineering College Applied Sciences and Humanities Department for hosting this webinar series. What you see here is we just started last week, May 7th, with a great startup. Because of the time limit, we could not proceed it further. So this is the part 2, which is continuing from the last week presentation. If you have any questions, please chat me or just keep it so that we can discuss at the end of the seminar. So I'm going to continue this seminar by recapping what we did in the last week. The recap of our part 1 lecture, we identify a number of problems with the carbon emissions. Carbon emissions has got some consequences like ocean melting or the global warming or the ozone layer depletion. Many of the consequences which need to be identified, and then we need to find a right solution for solving this global problem. So number of green technologies have been introduced like solar PV, solar photovoltaics, wind turbines, nuclear, and geothermal or biofuels, or the hydrogen as a natural source of transportation, or you can use simply the electric. The electric grids, they can produce the electricity and then deliver to the residential sector or the commercial sector transportation industry. Again, I would like to say that all have to be muted for easy for going through this presentation. All right, so how we are going to address this the global warming situations and then go for the green energy or the clean energy. This was again the last week recap about the solar PV. We just understand that how the energy from the light, from the sunlight is converted directly into electricity, or you can convert the energy to electricity by hydrokinetic. That means you take a kinetic energy of the hydro, the water dam, and you can move the water from the upstream to the downstream, where you can convert that energy of motion of the water, and that will run your steam turbine. The turbine will produce the direct electricity and you can use it for your transmission. Or geothermal energy, wind energy, we use a wind turbine for the mechanical energy into electrical energy. Solar thermal energy, where you can use a solar light to use it for warming up your liquid, which is there is a solar collector. You can use a solar thermal power and then use it for steaming your water, and steam turbine can work and produce electricity, or solar water heater. These are the technology which are available or probably known for many years now. Then we discuss about another form of energy which is clean, sort of compared to the less global carbon footprint, is a biomass. We use a biomass from the feedstock, from the bio energy. That biomass is combust into the the biomass combustion. The biomass combustion, we use a carbon dioxide for photobioreactors for using to produce a biofuels. The biofuels is one of the liquid combustion fuel which is reduced from the CO2 or the carbon. So you have a biofuel which is like a 10% ethanol. You use a 10% ethanol. That means you can reduce the combustion of a carbon by 10%. Then you can use the biofuel, and
नाराज मत हो
the fuel cell is work with the biofuel.
तो ठीक है नहीं तो कह दो चुप पड़े रहो
Excuse me.
देखना सीतारमण क्या कह रही हैं
Can you please mute somebody talking right now?
Sharma ji, Professor Sharma, please mute. Yeah. Okay.
The biofuels, the fuel cell is stacked into the car, where the biofuel can produce the energy that can convert into electricity, or probably can use a direct combustion of the biofuel for running your transportation sector. But now we are going to compare the technologies. The solar photovoltaics is little expensive, about $5,000 to $10,000 per kilowatt. Solar thermal is $3,500 or $3,500 per kilowatt. Wind turbines is much less expensive, $1,500 per kilowatt. Or coal combustion turbines are little less. So, but because of the technologies are matured enough, now the price goes down. All the prices goes down, then you can use more of a mix of renewable energy into the fossil fuel usage in many other sectors. So I'm going to start actually a real part 2 from the next slide. Overall, we wanted to reduce the carbon dioxide footprints. The carbon dioxide is the one which is dumping on the atmosphere that is invisible, your India Gate or the mountains like Himalayas. The carbon footprints are reduced by several means. Either you can dump the carbon dioxide into the ground storage or geological storage, or you can store it in minerals like a limestone or a dolomites. What we use our research, we try to capture the CO2 into the limestone, and then we can use the limestone as a disposing into the effectively take out the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Or you can use the CO2 for production of plastics or anything in an industrial usage, or you can use it for electricity generation. The carbon dioxide is used as a feedstock for your biomass, or you can also use for petrochemical or cement production. That way the carbon dioxide is used in many ways so that you can reduce the footprint of carbon dioxide from our atmosphere. That's our overall goal. What is the best way to do that? The another switch in here, I want to switch the gear and look for the electric, pure electric, the smart grids. The smart grids are very highly popular in the US, Europe, and Asia to convert the convert different fuels into direct electricity. So you can use everything as electric power. Okay. So the electric power is coming from the grids. The grids are kind of the stations, local utilities, where you can produce the electricity by combusting of your coal or fossil fuels, or any of the renewables, you can produce electricity. The electricity travel to the grid or the copper lines, and you can use directly into the industry or many of the sector like wind turbines. So the electricity is the main source for usage into the consumption into the residential sector or the industrial sector. Like, for example, when you have the electricity which is coming from the grid, you can use that for captured by the wireless technology, where the wireless like a Wi-Fi. Wireless technology can produce your air conditioner working, or the wireless technology can charge your electric vehicles. So now we are switching from the electricity, the direct combustion of electricity which is coming to your household, and that electricity is used for charging your batteries or charging your transportation vehicles. Or you can also use the electricity produced and then you can add your solar PV on top of the roof, where you can also produce the electricity. You can sell back the electricity back to the utilities also. So that's a technology where we can use all electric. That means plug-in hybrids. What we call it's a PHEV, plug-in hybrid vehicles. Plug-in hybrid vehicles which can work primarily electric and also some gases like a gasoline or any other fossil fuel gases. So the benefits of plug-in hybrids are enhanced energy security, the reduced greenhouse gas emissions like CO2 or carbon monoxide, improved air quality, or increased grid asset utilization. So you can utilize the grid for your residential sector or the industrial sector. Therefore, the plug-in hybrids are very much into the market, where it will solve when there is a problem arises due to sun or the wind. I told you in the last week, when there is a sun, there is no problem. You can produce solar PV into electricity, okay? But if there is no sun, it's a rainy day, how you can use the solar PV to use that energy unless you have a battery, right? The same thing, if there is no wind, no wind, then you cannot use the wind turbine for electricity production. Therefore, you need to have a storage medium of the peak. That's why we got the valleys. The valley is called of the peak. Like when there is no wind or sun, then you can use the electric by battery storage, or you can use the electric vehicles. So therefore, electricity is a very primary source which is clean from the carbon footprints. Then you can use it for the transportation or industrial or residential sector. This is a courtesy of the chart from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, which is the Department of Energy institution or Department of Energy National Laboratory. In India, we say this is more like Baba Atomic Research Center or any other energy lab, which is part of the government of India. Then they also work with the Energy International Association. So this chart is produced by Lawrence Livermore National Lab from California, USA. And they said that they put number of energy sectors like solar, nuclear, hydro, wind, geothermal, natural gas, coal, biomass, and petroleum. Okay, these are the mix which use. And in the end of 2015, the energy consumption from these different sources, electricity production is about 38, whereas transportation sector is used the same amount of energy. So the transportation sector right now is fully catered or fully solved or served by the petroleum gas. Whereas other, we can also use a coal, clean coal, or the fossil fuel for electricity production. Okay, so this is actually up to 2015 without the electrical energy. Right now, we use primarily about 35% or you can say 30% of transportation is rely on the petroleum or the gasoline. But the petroleum and the gasoline are again, they are the fuel feedstock which has a carbon value. The carbon dumps, like if you combust a diesel fuel or the gasoline fuel, you may have a lot of pollution because of carbon dioxide, conversion, and then carbon monoxide, which is toxic as well. So right now for the all the solar and all the renewable energy which can use it for the residential, commercial and industrial sector, the energy rejection is very important. About 60% of energy is rejected because of that after combusting or after transportation or industrial combustion. Still you are about 60% of rejection of energy, which is not very good. Okay. Now you use electricity, the electricity generation about 50. Then we also try to minimize petroleum for transportation, but the same electricity we can use it for transportation as well. So now you use about 42% reduction or 15.9 value, which is coming from the electricity, what is used for electrifying your homes or industries. We use that electricity and put it into transportation. Therefore, you can reduce by 6% of rejection. And then there is you can use 100% gasoline replaced by the electricity, and 15.8 quarts of total we use for electricity, and about 3 to 6% reduction reduced. So this is again under research. People are working very effectively to see that how we can go like fully electric or at least hybrids, because many of the hybrid cars have come into the market, like Tesla or a Toyota hybrid or a Nissan Leaf. They use the electricity primarily for the transportation sector. Therefore, we can reduce the fossil fuels like coal, natural gas. India is heavily invested for natural gas, for converting the natural gas vehicles from the gasoline vehicle, but still the natural gas combustion still have some carbon footprints, and then that will cause the emission. You need to go with a complete emission-free transportation. That's why in many of the places like California or many of the European countries, they have or even in India, we have the emission standards, like you go with the emission 6 right now for reducing your pollution by at least 40 to 50% by just using the electric. So overall, this chart will tell us about when you use the electric vehicle, then you go from at least reduction of 10% of CO2 emission from the atmosphere. So let's look what is electric vehicle. The electric is completely electric or plug-in hybrids. They are lightweight vehicles, and they also use powertrain, improving the efficiency by internal combustion engine. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time. I don't know.
It is 4:56 p.m.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so let me go, and then probably we need to catch up in the next meeting.
8:82.
I will finish in 5 minutes or 4 minutes. Improving efficiency of thermal internal combustion engines and hybridization. That means you are going with the gasoline vehicle. You can reduce the gasoline tank and then use the plug-in hybrid for your energy. Initially, you start up the vehicle, you need the gasoline. Once you start up the vehicle, then the electric will take over, and then you can run on the highways or in the local domestic line with the plug-in hybrid. So I'm going to stop it here, because this is a whole story about electric vehicle technologies. 2 minutes, I can take why these electric vehicle technologies are important and what are the alternative transportation method like hydrogen technologies, and fuel cells technologies. We'll combine these into the future presentation. I don't know, is this okay, Dr. Mishra-ji? Or
Yes. Okay, sir. Because on 21st May, we
Yeah.
will again meet and we will discuss on the same topic, and that will be part 3 of this.
yes,
Okay.
part three. This is
Now, any query? Any query
electric
from
and
audience?
hydrogen technologies.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any question from audience?
Let
Any
me-
query? Any question
Hello,
on this topic?
Yes.
Yes.
sir. I
Yes.
am Dr.
Yes, Dr.
PC Jha.
Srinivasan.
PC Jha.
Dr. Srinivasan.
Yes,
Dr.
I am Dr.
Srinivasan.
yes,
Now the question from Dr. PC Misra. He's faculty in chemistry in my college.
hello, sir.
And
Thank you.
yeah.
Sir, I am Dr. PC Jha.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask that what are the why not we are using only hydrogen as a fuel, so that no emission will take place and no pollution and no such type of problems which we are facing. We will overcome that problems if we use hydrogen as a fuel, only hydrogen as a fuel.
Yes, we can. We can. Only thing is there is a roadblock is about infrastructure. The infrastructure of building the hydrogen gas stations or hydrogen station for producing the hydrogen and handling the hydrogen is not very much set up right now like a natural gas. Right now, there are a lot of natural gas plants or the gas stations in Bangalore and India, many of the part of the countries. For the hydrogen is, there's intrinsic challenges like a hydrogen production, hydrogen storage, and hydrogen utilization. We'll definitely talk about this because that's my interest of my research. I work on hydrogen a lot. But the main challenge is about how you can go with building of hydrogen gas stations infrastructurally so that they are conveniently used for using for the transportation.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will be in that lecture
Sure,
to hear about hydrogen fuel.
sure.
Again, we will meet on 21st May and at 4:30 p.m. Okay. Any question? Anybody else? No. Okay. On behalf of Applied Science and Humanity Department of ITS Engineering College, Greater Noida, I take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar on the renewable energy system and sustainability, education, research, and outreach, part 2. At the outset, I thank our guest speaker and resource person, Dr. Sesa S. Srinivasan. We are really enlightened with your knowledge. We are thankful to our Honorable Vice Chairperson, Mr. Sohail Chadda, sir, Secretary, Mr. B.K. Arora, sir, Executive Director, Professor Vikas Singh, sir, Director, Professor Sanjay Yadav, sir, Dean Academic, Professor Gagandeep Yadav, sir, Applied Science and Humanities Head, Dr. O.P. Chaudhary, sir, and a special thank to teacher staff for their support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to our students for active participation. With this warm word and a kind message, we move to the end of today's webinar. Thank you, sir. Again, we will meet on the 21st May at 4:30 IST. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Dr.
Dr. Mishra-ji, for organizing
thank
a
you.
very wonderful
Yes.
international
I will,
webinar. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you,
Yes.
Mishra-ji.
Raman Sahab,
Yes.
Dr. Raman Sahab.
Yes.
Our HOD is Dr. O.P. Chaudhary, sir, and
Hello, sir.
we will request you in near future to join a seminar in our college. Will be organized by Applied Science Department. Okay, sir.
Sure.
And I hope you will come. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mishra-ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, ITS Engineering College, and thank you, the
Oh,
Applied Sciences and Humanities Department for this opportunity. And we'll see in the next week, probably continue the topic. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.